game last night with the Ravens and the Bills, and it's just every single thing. Obviously, there were mistakes, but those guys are on it, and they fly, man.
Yeah, fun Monday night football game. Caleb Williams making his second-year debut, so he'll be on the big stage. Lincoln Riley, crazy. 5 of the 32 quarterbacks belong to him in the NFL. That's starting quarterbacks. It's pretty crazy. All right, that'll do it for us on Trojans Live. Thank you to our crack production team who gets it done for us week in and week out. And most importantly, thank you, the listeners, the viewers out there. It's getting fun. Stick with us. Trojan Tailgate Show will go on at 10:30 a.m. on Saturday. Fight on, everybody.
This has been Trojans Live, presented by Monster Energy. Unleash the beast.
Mayava, lots of time to throw, throws over the middle, all alone at the 50-yard line, caught by Lemon, and he will race to the finish line all by himself as he outruns Georgia Southern's defenders for another long touchdown. USC, how do you do?
Tune in Monday nights at 6 p.m. on 710 ESPN and on the all-new ESPN LA app. And follow us on the ESPN LA Trojan Media Network. Trojans Live is an exclusive presentation of Play Fly Sports on 710 ESPN and the ESPN LA Trojan Media Network. Do you do? Presented by Pechanga Resort Casino.
710 ESPN, your home for the 17-time world champion Lakers.
KSPN Los Angeles, a Good Karma Brands radio station. This is Lakers Talk on 710 ESPN.
Where Lakers fans tap in for all the latest surrounding the purple and gold.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
An off-season edition of Lakers Talk is on.
Here's Andy Kamenetsky.
What is up, Lakers fans? This is Lakers Talk. Andy Kamenetsky, ESPN LA, 710. Thank you, as always, to everybody for listening, for watching, whether you are in your car, whether you're watching on YouTube, hitting us up on the app. It is always appreciated. This 7 to 9 on Mondays is when we are going to be looking to have the show, unless we are preempted by, say, the Rams, Monday Night Football, or perhaps a Lakers game during the season, where obviously we carry all the games, the flagship station for the Los Angeles Lakers. But otherwise, we are looking to do this every Monday night, 7 to 9, and there is a lot. I always say this, it is amazing when you cover the Lakers, how even in the offseason, even in September, when we have gone through every single dog day of the summer, and it has felt like logically there should be absolutely nothing to get into, there is always something with the Lakers, and it is no exception. We're going to get into an interesting report from Brian Windhorst. Well, not even so much a report, but Windhorst talking on the Hoop Collective about the signs he's getting about whether or not this could be LeBron's final season in the NBA. Frankly, how much LeBron has made up his mind about whether or not this could be his last season in the NBA. What does that mean? The timing of whatever announcement, if it's going to come, when to expect it, should we expect anything at all? That's going to be coming up. I want to get into the Hall of Fame weekend, where you had former Laker Dwight Howard, former Laker Carmelo Anthony, getting inducted twice into the Hall of Fame this weekend, both as individual players and also part of the Redeem team, the 2008 Olympic team that beat Spain and reestablished the baseline of Olympic excellence for Team USA. Obviously, the catalyst with that team was Kobe Bryant, who his presence was felt during this induction. LeBron mentioned the impact that Kobe had with this team. But also, too, an interesting quirk for both LeBron and almost former Laker Chris Paul. Should have been former Laker Chris Paul, DeAndre, hashtag never forget. Never forget, man.
Never forget, nope.
I will not ever forget that. That was David Stern overreaching his boundaries, overextending his authority. There are so many sliding door versions of what could have been with the Lakers had Kobe Bryant and Chris Paul been given their rightful chance to team up as both of them wanted. But nonetheless, the two of them, LeBron and Chris Paul, made interesting history with their Hall of Fame induction that I want to get into, and also get into more of just what Kobe meant for that 2008 Redeem team and just how important all that was. So beginning to that, going to talk a little bit of Lakers potential trade rumors, or a guy that they, according to Mark Stein, could have their eye on. It is a familiar name that we've talked about before, but he may be on their radar again. So that's going to come up. Also at 7:30, we're going to talk with Jake Madison from Locked On Pelicans and Locked On NBA, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is also where you can find Locked On Lakers, available 5 days a week, everywhere you get your podcasts. Monday through Friday, always free, never behind a paywall. And for the sickos who like to watch, there is a YouTube component. 418, slipping a little bit.
He slipped a little bit there.
I know.
Get it in really early, man.
Well, I mean, as I said, there actually is a lot to get into. So just the setup takes me out of my immediate self-plug, just the naked self-promotion that I absolutely use this show and, frankly, this station for every single time I have that possibility. So that's all coming up, but we are going to begin with Luka Doncic's, and also, obviously, 877-710-ESPN. If you want to weigh in, 877-710-ESPN. Also, if you are watching on YouTube, leave comments in the chat section. I check them out all the time. I sometimes incorporate them into the show. I love making the show as interactive as possible. So definitely make sure that you are leaving your thoughts there, and I will look to incorporate wherever I can. But as I was going to say, we begin with Luka Doncic's continual dominance in eurobasket, and the way, as these games start becoming more important and the competition starts ramping up and becoming more difficult, Luka Doncic keeps playing better and better and better. And the most recent example of this came against Slovenia's win over Italy. An absolutely jaw-dropping performance by Luka Doncic. 42 points, 22 of those points in the first quarter. Like 22 in of itself would have been a nice day at the office. But that was just the first quarter. 42 in all. Very efficient shooting, including from distance, where Luka has, for most of this tournament, his three-point shot has not been falling. It's basically the only thing offensively that has not been working for Luka. But in this game, he was efficient overall, 11 of 19 from the field. And it was incredibly needed, DeAndre, because nobody else on Slovenia could make a shot. To put this in perspective, 42 points for Luka in this victory over Italy. Slovenia scored 84 points. That's half of the point total for Slovenia was Luka. I mentioned how he was 11 of 19 from the field. The rest of the team was 16 of 45 from the field. Luka, 11 of 19. Everybody else, 16 of 45. It explains, by the way, why Luka only had one assist in this game. It was not because he was monopolizing the ball. It's because there were only 12 assists for Slovenia, period, in this game. Nobody could make shots. Luka also had 10 rebounds, 3 steals, indicative of the work and the effort and the attention that Luka has been putting on the defensive side of the ball. He was this is amazing. Plus 43.
What?
I'm going to double-check this to make sure.
Double-check that, please.
I am going to double-check this, make sure that I have this correct. Perhaps I misread this, or, I don't know, maybe they do this different in Eurobasket. Okay, let me double-check this. 84-77 win over Italia. And I go over to the Slovenian side of the box score, and okay. His efficiency rating was a 43. He was merely a +9. He was a +9.
I'm about to say, ooh.
Yeah, he was a +9 in this game. But just an absolutely tremendous effort from Luka. He keeps getting better as this tournament progresses. We also see these performances getting better at a time where I am guessing his synchronicity, his timing, like his feel for the game, like the cohesion. Because remember, the offseason of skinny Luka transforming his body, a lot of that included not touching a basketball, which was really hard for Luka, but it was all just about different forms of conditioning, different forms of fitness, exercising different muscles, and putting the basketball down. So a lot of when Eurobasket began, or like the Eurobasket practices, that was basically when Luka started playing 5-on-5 for the first time since the Lakers lost in the first round to the Timberwolves. So I imagine it's taken Luka a bit of time just to get himself back in the swing of basketball. We're starting to see that more as the competition gets better. We're also seeing what I think is the effects of better conditioning and better fitness, that he can manage to do this as better competition is just zeroing in solely on him. This comes at a time, by the way, where Nikola Jokic and Serbia have been eliminated. France, one of the favorites of this tournament, they were eliminated. Obviously, Lauri Markkanen, who's having a hell of a run with Finland, and Germany, they're still alive. Germany, one of the favorites. That is Slovenia's next round opponent, and they've got a good squad. It's got old friend Dennis Schroeder. It's got Franz Wagner.
Mo Wagner?
Yeah, which
is Mo Wagner on there?
Mo Wagner is not on the team, I believe. I'm guessing he's still recovering from injury from last year. Under normal circumstances, I'm pretty sure Mo Wagner would be there. But you've also got Tristan da Silva, a rookie with the Magic last year, who, side note, he had a solid year last year. If that continues, there's going to be a lot of questions about whether or not the Lakers should have taken him as opposed to Dalton Knecht. He went one pick after Dalton, and da Silva had been heavily connected to the Lakers in the pre-draft process. I saw da Silva come up in more mock drafts than any other individual player to the Lakers. I'm pretty sure on Locked On Lakers, we actually did a scouting report with somebody from Colorado to talk about da Silva, just because it had seemed before Knecht unexpectedly fell that da Silva would end up getting selected by the Lakers. So Dalton better pick it up, or I guess da Silva better regress. Otherwise, people are going to start wondering whether or not the Lakers should have just taken the guy everybody assumed, Daniel Tice. So he's been a solid NBA player. He's on that team. Plus, old friend Isak Bonga, who got into it with Luka during the friendlies.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, Isak
Bonga. I heard that name in a minute.
Funny thing about Isak Bonga, his first couple years in the NBA and the rookie season with the Lakers, everybody thought his name was Isaac and that you pronounced it Isaac. And it turns out it's Isak. Nobody on the Lakers knew because he was so polite and like so soft-spoken as a rookie, he didn't correct anybody. So nobody on the Lakers knew actually that it was pronounced Isak until like I actually asked someone from the Lakers about this. Like, we didn't know. We actually thought.
But he just let it happen.
Yeah, no, Isak Bonga was just, he's just being the mild-mannered rookie. Let everybody mispronounce his name for like a couple seasons in the NBA.
Hey, no problem, man. You can call me Isaac.
Oh, no, man, he's just happy to be here, man. Isak Bonga is just happy to be in the league. Like, you can call me whatever the hell you want, man. I don't care. But coming up next, I want to get into, there is so much, like Eurobasket is just a microcosm of so many things happening this offseason that should generate so much excitement for the Luka era with the Lakers that is going to officially begin this season. And I think there is an excitement factor and also a let's effing go factor that is going to be there, not just for fans, not just for the franchise itself, not just for Luka, but also I think Luka's teammates. Going to get into all that coming up next. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN.
The 12th annual SoCal Hyundai ESPN LA Golf Classic.
Presented by Coors Light and Vista Paint.
Happening Friday, September 12th at Black Gold Golf Club in Yorba Linda. With special thanks this year to
Hyundai. There's never been a better time to test drive the Hyundai you've always wanted. Visit your SoCal Hyundai dealers today.
Legends Attic, a unique blend of sports museum, art gallery, and card collectibles.
Find out more details at ESPNLA.com.
Football is back, and so is your shot at big wins with DraftKings Pick 6, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. Your game day instincts can score you real money fast. Just pick more or less on two or more player stats. from breakout rookies to elite quarterbacks, and unlock the upside every snap brings. The better your call, the bigger your payout. New DraftKings customers gets $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code KSPN. That's code KSPN. Play just $5, get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call. Ride the upside. In partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promo.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. Looking to score big on flooring? Kick off your project with Hernandez Wholesale Flooring. Every day's a win, no gimmicks, no markups, just the wholesale deals on every surface. Call 866-62-FLOOR or visit them on the web, hernandezwholesaleflooring.net. No sale beats wholesale.
Are you ready to unleash the beast? Monster Energy is here to give you the edge this college tailgate season. Loaded with bold flavors, our powerful blend gives you the energy you need to push you beyond your limits. Tune in all season long with Monster, the energy drink of ESPN Radio College Football Tour. Power your performance with a drink that's as hungry for victory as you are. Crack open an ice-cold Monster and dominate your competition. Monster Energy. Unleash the beast. Grab yours today.
This college football moment is brought to you by Serve Pro.
College football teams have moments they recovered from and made it like it never even happened. Like on September 24, 2016, when Tulsa found themselves down 31-0 to Fresno State. With 10 minutes left in the second quarter, Tulsa fought back to tie the game at 41. And then won 48-41 in double overtime.
Serve Pro. Like it never even happened.
710 ESPN.
The radio home of the purple and gold and the home of Lakers talk.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute.
When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
More Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky rolls on.
Sunlight hurts my eyes. Something without one love.
Few songs that ever I turn to more when I just need to feel good than this one. Bill Withers, Lovely Day. And what's funny is, outside of just loving this song, and, you know, like I said, DeAndre, it'll put me in a good mood whenever I want to. One of the things, though, that always jumps out to me with this song, have you ever seen the movie 27 Hours with James Franco?
No, I have not.
It's really good. It's a great movie. It's based on the true story of, I don't remember the man's name. His real life, I think it was Aaron Ralston. Real life, like climber and hiker who would go on these really, really difficult climbs and spelunking and stuff like that by himself. And he ended up getting caught with essentially a boulder on his arm, and it pinned him in there. And he had to essentially saw off his own arm, like remove his own arm to get out of there. Like, it's a true story. And there's a great use of this song, ironically, as Aaron Ralston's character is like trying to calm himself down, and he eventually leads himself back to, he's like trying to like get himself in a great sense memory place, and it leads him back to the Gatorade that he just remembered that he left in his car. And like, he is so thirsty. He's like, he's worried he's going to die.
Yeah.
And it takes him back to his locked car and this Gatorade with condensation building in the bottle.
Interesting.
It's a really, really good movie.
Nah,
if you've never seen it before.
Yeah,
It's called 27 Hours. And the use of Lovely Day in that, it again, takes me to a great place, but also takes me to that movie. So, reminder, in about 15 minutes, going to talk with Jake Madison, the host of Locked On Pelicans, Locked On NBA. He covers the entire league. I want to get his perspective, obviously, on the Lakers and the league at large, but also what it would theoretically take for the Pelicans to, A, decide they're going to trade Trey Murphy III and Herb Jones. I think the two most coveted guys on that roster by teams looking to contend, Like, those guys would make a difference with any team they played for. Like, they are both really good 3-and-D players. In particular, Trey Murphy is a sharpshooter. But also, if they decided to trade those guys, what would it actually take to get them in a deal? So I'm going to talk about that with Jake Madison in about 15 minutes. I was mentioning Luka's dominance in eurobasket. The biggest achievement was recently against Italy. He helped propel the Slovenian national team to an 84-77 win. 42 of the 84 points were scored by Luka. And there's been a lot of speculation about LeBron's enthusiasm or lack thereof heading into this Lakers season, his relationship with the organization, all that stuff. None of it will be completely answered by one Instagram post. But it is worth noting that that LeBron put up 2 photos of Luka in his Slovenian uniform with the caption, "Luka dominates at Eurobasket." So, like, clearly, if nothing else, LeBron likes what he's seeing from Luka, wants to shout that out. And regardless of what happens in the next games for Slovenia versus Germany, regardless of even how well Luka plays, everything right now feels like it is building exactly how you'd want if you're a Laker fan for what is going to officially begin the Luka Doncic era with the Lakers. And I think that officially begins this coming season. I know Luka played some games last year from the midseason deal, but that was a work in progress. Luka was nowhere close to 100% health-wise. He was still dealing with the mental and emotional toll of getting completely sucker punched by that trade, feeling betrayed by the Dallas Mavericks, the way they were bad-mouthing him through whisper campaigns on the way out. They got in his pockets. Like, that trade affected his money. Like, the Lakers signed him for the max they could, but Dallas could have signed him to a super max, and he was ineligible for that. So this cost him like hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, this was a big deal for Luka. And everything that we are seeing, whether you're talking about the summer shred and getting himself into what appears to be the best conditioning of his career, but also the most serious Luka has ever seemed about conditioning. And he's been going on basically a world tour, showing off his revenge body. Like, he's been showing up for the Nike tour that he did that very, very explicitly and intentionally ended in Los Angeles. Like, originally, that tour, when they had been planning it with Nike, because it had been in the works for a while, that was originally supposed to end in Dallas, where Luka had planned on signing an extension with Dallas. But then I believe that was reported by Mark Stein. But then, after the trade, they manufactured everything so it would end up in L.A. And this has all been part of a very concerted effort, it feels like, to build excitement by Luka for this coming season. The way he's playing in Eurobasket feels very intentional towards messaging this season. And that's obviously exciting for fans. That's going to be exciting for the organization. But I also feel like for Luka's teammates, there's a let's effing go to this. Like, let's effing go. When these guys see the way Luka's playing this offseason, when they see the way he has committed to fitness, like when I showed my wife and daughter, DeAndre, that Men's Health cover, it took them a second to recognize that was Luka. Like, they were like, wait a minute, that's Luka?
I think that's been everyone's reaction as soon as they saw that.
Like, but, like, I don't even mean it, like, hyperbolically, like, oh, it doesn't look like Luka.
No,
they were like, wait.
They were shocked.
Yeah.
Like, he really transformed his whole body.
Yeah. These guys, when they see that, his teammates, there's got to be a galvanizing effect to that. And there's also, it raises everybody else's accountability, because it's like, dude, if he's doing this to get ready for this season, then I gotta step up my own game. I gotta make sure I'm meeting Luka's level.
Yeah, like, what kind of work are you putting in? Are you putting in the same amount of effort as he is into this offseason? He's committed to this Lakers team. He's committed to his body. He obviously wants the most success coming out of this next season. He said it himself. He wants to compete for nothing but championships. And I've seen clips of Jared Vanderbilt in the gym essentially working on his jumper. We know that
I hope he works on finishing.
I hope he works on finishing.
He needs to work on finishing more than that jumper.
Being in that dunker spot, stuff like that, make layups. And we know he's going to be utilized a lot more differently. His role is a lot more different compared to the other players on this team. But Rui Hachimura going out and working out with sumo wrestlers, but just learning how to initiate contact, because that's more for boxing out, being in the right position, the right spots. So a lot of different things that these Lakers players have been doing this offseason translated to Luka Doncic and what he's putting out there.
And also, too, Luka recruiting. He helped recruit DeAndre Ayton. He helped recruit Marcus Smart. Like, these are all signs of seriousness about what Luka's doing for this franchise. Like the idea of, I recognize the responsibility that comes with being the face of the Lakers. And say what you will about some of the questions that I think were valid with Luka about dedication to conditioning and whether or not he just felt like he's so naturally talented, he can put up insane numbers without being in the best shape of his career, which, if that is what he felt, he was kind of shown he could. But, like, whatever you want to think about it, that dude loves to be on a stage. Like, he played when he was younger as a teenager for a little club called Real Madrid. You might have heard of them.
I'm very familiar with them.
Yeah, little group, Real Madrid.
Right.
He loves the stage of being a Laker. Like, he is. I remember during the Lakers Youth Foundation tournament that when DeMarco Farr and I were when DeMarco and I were doing DeMarco and Travis from the golf tournament. Sasha, who I imagine knows Luka a bit just through, fellow countrymen, Slovenians, he talked about how, like, he was like, I don't mean this disrespectfully towards Dallas, but the stage in Dallas was not quite big enough for a guy like Luka. This is the stage he's supposed to be on. It also reminds me a bit, DeAndre, of Kobe's effect. And, it's appropriate to remember this because Kobe was part of that 2008 Redeem team that got inducted into the Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, Kobe's second posthumous induction. But the way Kobe galvanized that team and was continually tone setting for that team. And in that game against Spain, the gold medal game, that story that in the documentary you hear LeBron and Melo and Bosh and Wade talk about how Kobe's saying, I know what play they're going to open with. I know exactly how they're going to set it up. I know exactly the screens they're going to run. First, right out of the gate, I am going to run through Powell's chest. I'm going to level him. I'm going to pick up an offensive foul. I'm running through that dude. And all those guys are like, stop. No, you're not. Like, that's your teammate. You just went to the finals with that guy. You're not doing that. Play starts. Kobe runs through Powell, knocks him on his ass, and everyone's just like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. Holy bleep. It is on. And that was like the tip of the iceberg, the gold medal moment of Kobe continually galvanizing and level setting for that team. I don't want to put Luka at that level yet because, A, Luka's got a way to go before he could even be in the same conversation as Kobe, like both as a player and as a Laker. But also, too, like Luka has to play out this season. But the things that he is doing that seems like these are direct message sending to my teammates this coming season, let's effing go. It feels intentional, and it feels like these guys are responding to it.
Can JJ Redick take some credit into that too? As soon as the exit interviews went on, and he was saying that, hey, look, we need to be in championship level shape. This is not a team that is going to be ready to go if we have this same level of conditioning going to next season. We need to be in championship level shape. Could JJ Redick have something to do with that as well?
Yeah, and
sending a strong message out.
I'll tell you why really quick because we're going to talk with Jake Madison in a few minutes. The reason I think JJ deserves some credit for that is because he actually had the stones to say it, like, out loud. And I don't even think it was necessarily all about Luka.
But the whole team.
It was about the whole team. But everybody knows, including JJ, when you say that out loud, everybody's going to interpret it as a message towards Luka. Even if Luka is in reality third on that list, it's going to be seen as about Luka. And I don't get the impression that Dallas ever really had that direct of a conversation with Luka about this stuff. From people I've asked, Tim McMahon with ESPN, Nick Angstadt with Locked On Mavericks, other reports, it doesn't feel like they ever just directly talked with Luka about this because they were so busy catering to him. And look, the Lakers cater to their superstars as much or more as any franchise in this league. It's not like they are not known for kissing the hind parts of their stars. But sometimes you still have to have those direct conversations. And if nothing else, JJ had the stones to put it out there publicly. So, yeah, I hadn't thought about it that way, but JJ likely does deserve some degree of credit for this. Talk about this and more coming up with Jake Madison from Locked On Pelicans. Locked On NBA, again, 877-710-ESPN if you want to weigh in. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN.
Weekday mornings in L.A.
belong to the Sedano and Cap Morning Show.
Eat that fat one, Cap.
I'll eat it. I don't care.
Eat it.
Seriously. I don't give a schnoll. I'll eat that fat one.
A what?
A schnoll.
That's a new one. I don't give a schnoll.
Just popped out.
The Sedano and Cap Morning Show.
Pop it out.
What is a schnoll? I may have just made it up. Okay.
7 to 9 a.m. on 710 ESPN.
The all-new ESPN LA app.
And 9 to 10 a.m. for the YouTube-only hour at ESPN Los Angeles.
Pop it out.
College football is back, and the Coliseum is the place to be. USC football takes on the best in college football, with home games against Michigan, Michigan State, Iowa, and crosstown rival UCLA. Don't miss a single snap, a single touchdown, or the roar of the Trojan Nation. Single game tickets are now available at usctrojans.com/tickets. usctrojans.com/tickets. Fight on!
Just when you thought your soccer watch party couldn't get better, San Antonio Cardinale brings the flavor. The sweet red wine, crafted with passion and tradition, turns every match into a celebration. Whether you're shouting goal or just chilling with family, San Antonio Cardinale makes every second count. Grab a bottle at your local store and make San Antonio Cardinale your go-to wine for soccer season and beyond. Must be 21 plus. Please enjoy responsibly.
You ever notice the harsh feeling and chlorine taste in LA's water? That's why I made the switch to LifeSource Water. Their whole house water system gives clean, filtered water from every tap in my house. It's become our essential appliance we love using every day. With LifeSource, you deal directly with their local factory. No middlemen, no hassle. Take advantage of a double dip in savings for up to $1,250 off. Call 800-WATER-99 or visit lifesourcewater.com. Warranty limitations apply.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form, and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, hims.com/joy.
Hey, this is Rich Eisen.
And ESPN LA is the new home of the Rich Eisen Show in the Southland.
Bill Burr, what'd you think of Bill Belichick's first game as head coach of North Carolina?
What'd you think of Joe Namath on the Rams? What'd you think of Johnny Unitas on the Chargers? What happened to that guy?
The home of USC football, and now the home of the Rich Eisen Show. Weekdays 9 a.m. to noon, 710 ESPN, and always on the new ESPN LA app.
An off-season edition of Lakers Talk continues on 710 ESPN. Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute.
When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
More Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky rolls on.
We are going to get Jake Madison from Locked On Pelicans and Locked On NBA momentarily. I want to talk with him obviously about the Lakers and the strength of this roster, but also, too, what it might take for the Pelicans to decide to potentially trade Trey Murphy III and Herb Jones, two of, I think, the most coveted names out there that at least there is some degree of expectation could get traded, because God knows the Pelicans seem to be going not just nowhere fast, but nowhere in a very confusing way. I don't get their roster, but also what it would take to actually land them. So going to run that by Jake Madison and much more. He is the host of Locked On Pelicans, also part of the daily Locked On NBA shows over at the Locked On Network, some of the best NBA and team coverage out there. Jake, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I will begin with the same thing I ask every guest to open the show. Lakers offseason, Dorian Finney-Smith and Jordan Goodwin. I want to make sure there's no Jordan Goodwin erasure. I think he deserves it. They're on the way out. DeAndre Ayton, Marcus Smart, Jake LaRavia in. These are the summer moves, at least for the time being, and probably heading into training camp. What's your assessment of the Lakers offseason?
Look, I think all of those guys are upgrades, right? I think, someone like DeAndre Ayton is, kind of not quite a boomer bust kind of guy, because we know he's a talented player. They got him for cheap. He's a clear upgrade at the center position for what they need. Just how is LeBron James going to handle him when he does DeAndre Ayton things? He's got a reputation around the league, and I think that's the type of thing that could really harm a team that's, somewhere outside of like the top contenders in the West, but better than the play-in tournament teams, and that's where seeding can really be impactful. So I do worry about a little bit of that with him, but I think you also kind of see these type of players, in their first year with the team kind of be on their best behavior. And look, as someone who watched a lot of Jackson Hayes here in New Orleans, you need an upgrade there, and he definitely fits that. I'm a Marcus Smart kind of guy. He's just a pest. Seems like he's going to fit in really well. I do think the Lakers had a very good offseason.
How much do you think, too, the Lakers just will benefit from a training camp with Luka and LeBron and Austin Reeves, J.J. Redick having gained more experience, but also the ability to establish something from the beginning of the season and then try to build it over 82 games?
I always think that's important, right? Especially when you get a lot of roster turnover and you're going into a season where, you can't get off to a slow start. Every one of these games is really going to matter, and you can't hit a period where you lose 4 or 5 in a row, something like that. You need these wins early on, especially because you don't want to be digging yourself out of a hole later with, LeBron James, who keeps defying the odds in Father Time. But you do worry about that late in the season. There's been some injuries there. But when he's his freshest, you want to be winning those games. So you need to come out of the gates firing. You need to be ready from game one. And I think that's where training camp preseason really does matter for a number of teams in the NBA. A lot of those guys that we're talking about can kind of be plug and play. You can throw them on any team. They should be able to fit right in because the core guys of Luka and LeBron are there. But when those two figure things out, right, it makes everybody's life a little bit easier, I think, and kind of getting some of that in place already. Another, a year of experience under J.J. Redick's belt, I think, is going to take him very far. You saw some, it's not issues, but clear rookie coaching mistakes from him last season. I do think that's going to be a big, important thing for this Lakers team, because if they can get out and come out the gates firing, if there is a slump later in the year, it doesn't hurt you as much. And I think that's something to really keep in mind as well.
Talking with Jake Madison, the host of Locked On Pelicans and Locked On NBA, covers the entire league. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN. Over at the Locked On Network, we just revealed the NBA channel's top 100. It was a consensus with all of us as part of the different Locked On NBA teams, the hosts. The Lakers had 3 players in the top 60. Luka at 4, LeBron at 12, which struck me as a bit low, but whatever. And Austin Reeves at 58. I am not looking to debate or deep dive the numbers. I honestly find a debate like 8 versus 12 kind of tedious. But where I do think these rankings can be significant or revealing in any way is the way they can establish tiers of players and like the level of players on a roster. So like with that in mind, Jake, the Lakers are the only team in the NBA, or I should say the only team in the Locked On Network's top 100 with 2 top 12 players. You've got, again, Luka at 4 and LeBron at 12. Like nobody else, the Cavs, OKC, Denver, Houston down the line, has 2 top 12 players. How significant do you think that is in just trying to gauge the quality of this roster?
It's important, right? Stars are what's going to win you games. I think fans and people kind of fall in love with role players a little bit too much and tend to overrate those kind of guys when largely they can be kind of replacement level a lot of the time. It's your star players are what's going to carry you. Look at how much further the Denver Nuggets went in the playoffs last year than we thought, how much more competitive they were than we thought they were going to be because they have Nikola Jokic. That's what matters more so than anything else, right? The reason the Thunder won the title is primarily Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It can be as simple as that. So getting guys in those top tiers and having a top-heavy roster to me is not necessarily a problem because everything else is just kind of details, and it's much easier to kind of reshape a roster around the edges it is than the top. And so getting some of those guys, I think, mean the Lakers, can go into the playoffs as the 5th seed or something like that, but get an upset in round 1 because they have a more talented top-heavy roster. And when you get into the postseason and you're playing 9 guys in a rotation, that's going to matter more so than anything else. So I think when you're assessing the quality of the Lakers, their regular season might not be as good as what their ceiling could be, and that's a team that really could shine in the postseason a little bit more, and it's because of having those players in that kind of higher level of tier.
And we're talking with Jake Madison, Locked On Pelicans, Locked On NBA. He covers the entire league. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN. As I mentioned before, I wanted to talk with you about 2 of the hottest will they become available names in the NBA, Trey Murphy III, Herb Jones. They are part of a Pelicans roster that, respectfully, I can't figure out what the hell they're trying to build or do over there. And feel free to explain it if you've got a more solid idea, Jake. But with that in mind, what do you think, A, it would take for the Pelicans to decide that they would move either one of those guys? Because it seemed like they'd like to keep them if possible. And I do think they are very coveted. What do you think it would take for the Pelicans to decide to move them? And B, what do you think it would take to land them if they did actually make them available?
Yeah, I think I'm sorry to make this segment a little bit shorter and make your life a little bit tougher, but they're not available. A lot of teams were calling about both those guys. I know. I'm here look, man, I can't make it easy on you. I know we're friends. I know we host shows together at times, but I got to make you work for this one here a little bit on it. A lot of teams were calling about both those guys this offseason, and they signed Herb Jones to the extension, showing that he's part of the core going forward. This is the first year of Trey Murphy's extension kicking in at just $25 million. Herb Jones is a first-team all-defensive level player, missed most of last season with injuries, but when he plays, he's just a winning player. He makes not the type of money he probably should be making, doesn't complain. The guy doesn't even take vacations. He's just in the gym all off season working. And it's the type of player you just love to root for. And having a defensive guy like that has shown the ability to be a good three-point shooter is just too valuable to give up for, pennies on the dollar. Same thing for Trey Murphy. This is someone who was averaging over 20 points per game last season, kind of taking a starring role as Zion Williamson only played 30 games. Brandon Ingram was traded away, and there were just tons of injuries here in New Orleans. So it would take one of those Godfather kind of offers that, teams might make, but that's also going to then impact that team's future pretty significantly. You'd be looking at 3 or 4 or more first-round picks. I think they value both of these players that highly when it comes to it all. In terms of what would make them potentially be available, and this kind of gets to your point that you had mentioned there of what is this team kind of doing, right? It would require them just hitting a full-on reset. Hey, we decide we don't want to be in the Zion Williamson business anymore. We're going to trade him away. Given that his value is probably not as high as they would like it to be. If it was, I think they would have traded him this offseason. But if you only get
that's interesting.
If you only get one first-round pick for Zion Williamson and a young player, right, not like the haul you would get for a star-level player. And look, sometimes the best ability is availability, and Zion Williamson has failed that test repeatedly, I think. If you're trying to kind of go through a full-on rebuild, you need to acquire other first-round picks too. So then maybe you look at selling other pieces. So that's kind of, in theory, that where they would make those two players available. But the thing is, they kind of skipped some of that steps, right? The Pelicans are attempting a two timelines approach, which I don't particularly love. That doesn't really work out at the NBA level very much, of trying to win now behind Zion Williamson with maybe Trey Murphy as the number 2 guy on this team. But they also just drafted Jeremiah Fears 7th overall. They did a weird move of trading a future first-round pick to trade up 10 spots and get Derek Queen at 13. You know, you trade star players away and other players away for first-round picks to try and hit on a couple of guys. They feel they've hit already on Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen, so why would you trade away Trey Murphy or Herb Jones for picks when you're not looking to kind of find those core guys because they believe Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen are those core guys? So it kind of even still rules out moving Trey Murphy or Herb Jones in that instance.
Okay, and we're talking with Jake Madison, Locked on Pelicans, Locked on NBA. You brought up a name that was going to be my last question anyway, which was Zion. What do you make of drafting Yves Missi last year, trading up 10 spots in what most people are considering at best a risky trade, you know, putting out giving an unprotected to Atlanta next year just for the opportunity to bring in Derek Queen, 2 bigs last year and this year, neither of whom, at least to me, feel like at least obvious fits playing with Zion? Like, do you think this signals, if nothing else, them planning for a potential future without Zion Williamson?
So I think it hits at 2 things, and you hit on one of them. You know, I view Derek Queen as Zion Williamson insurance for anything here. Something the Pelicans have tried to do in the past was almost like Zion-proof their offense, that if Zion Williamson goes down, the offense falls apart. You know, he's your star player. That's a natural thing. There's only one of those type of players in the league, only one of those players on the team here. You know, a couple of years ago, they tried to move him off ball more so that if he did get hurt, and this is something they worry about, you know, it wasn't as Zion-centric, so you could maybe try and continue on and win games even if he went down. Derek Queen's, while not the same player as Zion Williamson, there are some there's some similarities there. There's some overlap there, right? That's why a lot of people look at the fit between Derek Queen and Zion Williamson and don't particularly see it. I view Derek Queen more as insurance should a Zion Williamson injury happen this season. I think that you can just plug Derek Queen in there, hopefully. He's pretty good at facilitating the ball, kind of being a face-up, almost point-forward kind of guy. They'll want to kind of put him into the Zion Williamson role, even if he's not quite Zion Williamson. So you have some insurance there, I think, a little bit too. The other part of it, when you look at Missi, and this goes to the rest of the roster turnover too, it's a regime change. They fired David Griffin. They brought in Joe Dumars, and you're seeing Joe Dumars start to slowly but surely remake this roster in his image. He doesn't seem to care about guys they drafted a year or 2 ago. He's going to move those guys if he feels the need to and just make this team how he wants. And you often see that when, you know, a new front office kind of comes in and they just don't feel that either sunk hostility to previous players or beholden to those previous players for whatever reason. You know, you saw TJ McCollum moved this year for Jordan Poole, in a move that, you know, is a little bit questionable on the surface, and that just might simply be Joe Dumars wants to turn this roster over and make some big changes because they only won 21 games last year, so he's going to find some sort of way to do it, and I think that's part of the reason why you're seeing so much roster turnover here in New Orleans.
2 things before we go. A, if Derek Queen is Zion insurance, they paid one expensive premium to get that insurance. Like that is.
I'm going to steal that from you. That's pretty good.
that is raking you over the coals. Insurance. That is the most expensive premium I've ever heard. B, if Joe Dumars is not interested in Yves Missi, color me interested, because I would love to have that guy in L.A. I liked a lot of what I saw of him as a rookie. He is Jake Madison. He is the host of Locked on NBA, also Locked on Pelicans. Even if you don't find the Pelicans interesting, and you ought to, because if nothing else, they're effing bizarre, Jake will make the Pelicans interesting to you because he just does a great job covering them, covering the league. Appreciate the time, brother. Thank you.
Of course. Thanks for having me on, Andy.
And also, you can follow Jake on Twitter at NOLA. Jake, going to talk about conversation with Jake and also take your calls, 877-710-ESPN. This is Lakers Talk. Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN.
The 12th annual SoCal Hyundai ESPN LA Golf Classic.
Presented by Coors Light and Vista Paint.
Happening Friday, September 12th at Black Gold Golf Club in Yorba Linda. With special thanks this year to
Divot Grip, the divot tool for your putter. The Greenskeeper.
Roger Dunn. Come celebrate Roger Dunn Golf Shop's 60th anniversary this Labor Day weekend.
Vista Paint, a stroke of brilliance. Precision color, championship finish.
Vista Paint is California's original paint company and has been serving pros and homeowners since 1956. Our paints are formulated for lasting performance, beautiful finishes, and made to withstand the weather. Vista Paint, locally made, expertly crafted, always reliable.
Can you write off a losing fantasy team on your taxes? Asking for a friend. Now your top reasons to visit Morongo.
Treat mom to a hot night out at Thunder from Down Under this Friday night.
Number 2.
Float your boat at Flamingo Friday's nighttime pool parties with live DJ and drink specials this Friday.
And the number 1 reason.
Laughter is in the air when Cedric the Entertainer is in the house, September 19th.
Morongo, good times.
John Ireland for Blue Ice, the finest potato vodka sourced from Idaho and pure Snake River Aquafire water. Find classic Blue Ice vodka or any of their unique flavors in stores or ask for it by name. Blue Ice vodka, because taste is everything.
Back when I played, leg cramps were no joke. Fourth quarter, overtime, practice, even when I got home, they would hit out of nowhere. Had I known about Highland's leg cramps back in the day, I would have had a locker full of the stuff. Now I'm retired, I still get these cramps on my morning walks, hanging out with my daughter, but now I've got something that actually works. Highland's leg cramps. The tablets dissolve quickly under the tongue and don't upset my stomach. Cramps hit athletes, weekend warriors, couch coaches, all of us. Grab Highland's leg cramps and get it today at Walmart, Walgreens, or CVS.
This is Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
Now back to Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky.
Teddy. We've all experienced a love TKO at some point in our life, DeAndre. Hopefully it was the one that lasted.
Yeah.
Hopefully it was the one that lasted, but frankly, we've all experienced one that didn't last and where we got TKO'd the bleep out. It happens.
It happens.
Happens to the best of us. Thanks again to Jake Madison from Locked on Pelicans, Locked on NBA for dropping by. I'll say it. You should listen to his coverage of the Pelicans because if nothing else, if you like weird bleep, the Pelicans are weird bleep. I don't understand what the hell they're doing.
Same team that they fit in that category where like, what the hell are you guys doing?
That pick that they gave to Atlanta, unprotected, that could be like a top 5 pick, maybe higher for, by the way, an Atlanta team that has had one of the best off seasons in the NBA. Like they have done some nice work over there, like trading up 10 spots for giving that unprotected for next year for Derek Queen, who is in Jake's mind, Zion insurance. That is a really expensive policy.
Yeah, it is.
like that's the type of policy that when your kid turns 16 and you insure them to drive and you're paying out the nose because they know it's an irresponsible teenager and they're likely to crash a car. That's like this trade. If he's the Zion insurance, that is a really expensive premium. 877-710-ESPN if you want to weigh in. As always, Mitch, New Jersey. You're on Lakers Talk. What's up, Mitch?
What's happening, Andy? How you doing?
Good, man.
Is this the same Atlanta team that traded for Porzingis? I mean, he's hurt half the time.
No, they're not going to get Porzingis. Atlanta just traded for him. Like they clearly brought in.
Well,
they clearly brought in Porzingis.
I mean,
Atlanta's looking to win this year. They have no. Assuming I heard you correctly, they have no reason to move unless Atlanta is just terrible and they decide to quickly reset and move Porzingis. I think he's expiring after this year, but I'm not 100% sure. Atlanta has no incentive to move him at all.
Oh, it was this is my fault, Andy. I meant I'm not. I was never big on Porzingis. I mean, how many times can the guy move? He's hurt half the time. So good luck with that, Atlanta. What about the Lakers? I think DeAnthony Melton's still out there and Westbrook, but DeAnthony Melton's still young and he plays good D.
Melton, and I appreciate the call there, Mitch. Melton, he's coming off a pretty significant injury, but also the Lakers right now would have to clear up roster space for DeAnthony Melton and have to clear up cap space. I mean, actually cap space, not even roster space, but cap space. They currently are close enough to the first apron, and because they use their full middle-level exception, they split it up for DeAndre Ayton and for Jake LaRavia. They cannot go even $1 past the first apron. They don't currently have enough cap space to even sign a veteran's minimum guy. So they would have to, DeAndre, do some cap finagling.
Yeah, and he mentioned Westbrook. I love you, Mitch. You always call in.
No, we appreciate it.
But we're not going to go through that.
Unless the goal is to, I guess, passive-aggressively get LeBron to demand a trade.
or retire early.
Retire early, like whatever. Like, because if you put LeBron through the PTSD of going through the Russ experience again, I promise LeBron is out at that point. Like, LeBron is gone. Frankly, I think Luka's going to look around and be like, wait, what? Like, I did all this summer shredding and all this recruiting and all this everything so you can bring in the guy that is the face of why LeBron and AD didn't win more than one championship. Fair or not, Russ is considered the face of that. And to be honest, I think it is in a lot of ways fair. It's not necessarily Russ's fault, but it is fair.
It's very fair, yes.
It's very fair.
But we're not going to do that again.
No.
That was a very dysfunctional team.
No.
What the Lakers have right now is solid enough to compete in the Western Conference.
No, I want to make it very clear. I am not in any way advocating for this. It would be totally wrong. If the Lakers signed Russell Westbrook again, Rob Pelinka would need security. He would have a lot of people very, very angry. He would really need to hire a bodyguard or two.
Yes, literally. Walking with them every single night.
And screen those guys to make sure they're not Laker fans who secretly just want to get close to Rob Pelinka.
Exactly.
Because they're mad about that. And, look, Russ is rightly like a favorite son of L.A. He has a charter. He has a charter school in kind of South L.A. that it used to be, I want to say, named for Obama. And then they went through, I believe, some funding issues. Russ kicked in the money to keep the school going, kept the Obama name, which is really awesome. Like there is, I believe, like a wing or a gym that is in Russ's name. But Russ kept this charter going. I learned of it because my daughter plays high school volleyball, but her middle school team played at what is essentially Russell Westbrook's charter. Russ is a good dude. And he is in particular a great Angelino. He loves this city. And I hope that with time and distance, LA will re-embrace Russ again because he truly loves Los Angeles. He's made big donations in the face of wildfires and stuff like that. Russ loves this city, and I hope Los Angeles loves him back. But bringing him back to the Lakers would be a god-awful idea. That's just a horrible.
It's the Westbrook Academy, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
It's the Westbrook Academy.
It's part of his Why Not Foundation.
Yes. Yeah. And it's really impressive, and it's really awesome. And again, it's very typical of what Russell Westbrook does for this city. As much as I was making jokes about the revolt that would happen if the Lakers brought him back again, I really, truly want Los Angeles to appreciate Russell Westbrook, the person, the way they should. But Russell Westbrook, the Lakers, should never happen again. That is a disaster.
It is kind of crazy that he's on the roster, though, still. It is kind of mind-blowing to me. Because I'm not used to, Russell Westbrook not being at least on a roster.
Here's what makes it make sense. Apparently, it's all just the Sacramento Kings waiting around. That's...
Yeah, because aren't they trying to trade, Malik Monk and trying to figure out that
create
contract?
Create
roster space for him.
That's where it all makes sense.
It doesn't surprise me.
I mentioned the PTSD that LeBron might experience if you brought back in Russell Westbrook. Brian Windhorst had some interesting comments about LeBron's future with the Lakers and also in the NBA, I believe on the most recent episode of the Hoop Collective. Talk about that coming up next. Again, take your calls, 877-710-ESPN. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN.
Your mornings just got a whole lot louder.
Two massive LA radio superstars.
Sedano and Cap have taken over Morning Drive on 710 ESPN.
Don't just listen, watch, stream, and connect across every platform.
Not a radio station, but a multi-platform operation. Okay?
7 to 9 a.m. on 710.
And 9 to 10 a.m. for the YouTube-only hour.
Because weekday mornings in L.A. belong to Sedano and Cap.
Located in the heart of downtown Los Angeles, Crypto.com Arena is pulling back the curtain and unveiling new behind-the-scenes VIP tours presented by Delta Airlines, which offers an exclusive look inside one of the world's most iconic sports and entertainment venues. Expert guides will lead small groups through spaces that have hosted legendary sports championships, world-renowned concerts, and epic awards. Guests will also explore the VIP areas and experience the arena's latest renovations. Visit CryptoArena.com/tours for more info.
Chris Morales here. So many things, big and little, make you uniquely you. Your hobbies, dreams, career, family, and more. Addiction to drugs, including opioids and stimulants, can strip these away from you. This National Recovery Month, recover your life. Choose treatment for drug addiction and get back to what matters most. Find a provider and proven treatment option that's right for you. Recover you at choosechangeca.org.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. Looking to score big on flooring? Kick off your project with Hernandez Wholesale Flooring. Every day's a win, no gimmicks, no markups, just the wholesale deals on every surface. Call 866-62-FLOOR or visit them on the web, hernandezwholesaleflooring.net. No sale beats wholesale.
Grown-ups, don't go back to school. Go forward through school into your future as an IT professional. Whether you're starting out, switching careers, or a veteran ready for change, My Computer Career can help you get into IT in just a few short months with no prior experience. So take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Your rewarding career in IT awaits. That's mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the VA benefits.
With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered broker-dealer.
Hi, this is Sean McVay of your LA Rams. The Rams play here. KSPN, Los Angeles.
710 ESPN.
A good karma brands radio station. This is Lakers Talk on 710 ESPN.
Where Lakers fans tap in for all the latest surrounding the purple and gold.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
An off-season edition of Lakers Talk is on.
Here's Andy Kamenetsky.
Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN. Again, 877-710 ESPN. If you want to weigh in on anything going on with the Lakers right now, anything going on with Luka Doncic and Eurobasket and the way he has continually over the course of this tournament picked up his play. He absolutely carried Slovenia over Italy, 84-77 win. 42 of the 84 Slovenian points scored by Luka Doncic, just an absolute machine in that game. And in the meantime, Luka Doncic, it is like I've talked about many times, including in this show, we are officially in the Luka Doncic era for the Lakers. And there's been a lot of speculation, a lot of tea leaves reading, a lot of body language policing, a lot of passive-aggressive social media posts interpreting about LeBron James's satisfaction or lack thereof with his relationship with the Lakers, how he feels about the front office, how he feels about being the number 2 guy on a team, both in terms of place in the pecking order on the court and, frankly, importance. Like, LeBron is still important to the Lakers because he's LeBron James, and he is too good for you not to care about him. He's just coming off a second-team All-NBA campaign, 6th in NBA voting. He is sixth in MVP voting. He is still playing at an extremely high level. He is also an icon in the league, and the Lakers are an organization that prides itself on treating their icons right. But it's pretty clear that there is some degree of tension between the Lakers and LeBron, which has led to speculation about how long LeBron's going to play with the Lakers beyond this season and how much longer he's going to look to play, period. And Brian Windhorst had some interesting comments on the Hoop Collective insofar as what he is gleaned about LeBron's future. Quote, I know there's a lot of speculation. Based on my conversations, I honestly think they being LeBron and his team, don't know. As far as I know, he's honestly going year to year. Could this be his last year? Yes. Will it be his last year? I don't know. Does he know right now? Maybe. But my interpretation is that it has not been established. We will see where he's at the end of the year. Now, the idea that we decide this at the end of the year, or we would hear a decision at the end of the year, would imply that there would be potentially no farewell tour for LeBron. And this would just be something LeBron decided at the end of the season, theoretically. Guys, it's been a hell of a ride. I am done playing. I am moving on to the next chapter of my life. I would frankly be stunned by that. I would be stunned by LeBron deciding, I want to go out without any type of celebration or fanfare or retirement tour. And by the way, I don't mean that as a dig at LeBron. Oh, he wants all the attention. He needs to make it about himself, even though I do imagine that he would want that type of celebration and recognition. And you know why? Because he deserves it. He's earned it. Like, if anybody has earned the right to have that type of recognition for his career ending, it would be LeBron. Quite frankly, the league is going to, behind the scenes, back channels, they're going to demand LeBron does this. They're not going to allow this money-making opportunity to be left on the table. They're going to be like, bro, even if you don't want this, you're doing it. Like,
between the jersey sales, between arenas being sold out,
yeah.
all
like,
that stuff.
Dude,
all that stuff.
Dude, we don't care. You are having a Exactly. You are having this thing. But where I do think, and I want to make it clear, I'm not disputing anything Brian Windhorst has heard. He is far more in the weeds and sourced than I am. But one thing where I would disagree with at least a little bit of how it seems like Windhorst is interpreting this is that LeBron does not need to formally announce that this will be his last season in order to eventually decide that he wants to hang it up after this year, in theory, and have a retirement tour. And the reason that we know this, and I think this has been forgotten over many years, coming up will actually be the 10th year anniversary of Kobe's last season in the NBA. I think it has been forgotten. Kobe did not actually announce before the season began that he was going to be retiring. He did not say this during media day heading into the 2015-2016 season. He did not formally announce his retirement until November 30th, like a month into the season. That's actually, and this is another thing that I think has been forgotten over time, the origin of Dear Basketball, which eventually became an Oscar-winning animated short. The origin of that was actually Kobe's retirement letter. Like, Dear Basketball was a poem that Kobe wrote explaining his retirement and his decision to retire, and that his body did not have anything else left to give. Like, it was actually something that he wrote for the Players Tribune 10 years ago. And I think that has been forgotten over time. And even with that having been announced a month into Kobe's season, the retirement tour still happened. Everything went as the league wanted it, as the Lakers wanted it, and as Kobe wanted it. So the idea that LeBron has to make up his mind before the season begins in order to have everything that LeBron theoretically would want and that I know the league would want, that's not mandatory. Like, I can guarantee, I have done no checking on this whatsoever, just to me it's common sense. I can guarantee, DeAndre, that the league has thought about this already.
They had to.
They've thought about it. I can guarantee that Team LeBron, even if they genuinely don't know what LeBron wants to do, even if LeBron has not made up his mind, and I think it is believable that LeBron has not made up his mind because this is a really big decision. No pun intended with LeBron, but it is actually a very big decision. I can believe that he does not know yet what he wants to do, but there's nothing to prevent them from planning if, say, he decides that this is going to be his last year with the Lakers.
They had to have, if it came down to it and he really was to decide to retire this season, there was something in the works leading into it. They had to talk this offseason about, hey, this is how I want it to go. This is the approach. This is the style I want. All those things they will take into consideration.
Here's the thing, too. I do believe, because I have, between just the visible signs, and I think LeBron and Clutch very outwardly wanting to message the idea that there is some tension and dissatisfaction between LeBron and the Lakers, and just things that you hear. I hear things. I ask around a little bit. I hear things. But if LeBron did decide he wanted to make this his final season for whatever reason, the Lakers are the best organization in the NBA, hands down, for turning this thing out into the event that it deserves to be. The Lakers are the best in the league at doing events. Hands down, there is not a close second. Nobody does celebrating their stars, celebrating lineage, celebrating league history, celebrating the game and its legends. Nobody does that better than the Lakers. So if LeBron may, I guess, if the signs that we're seeing are accurate, I suppose he could have a little bit of misgivings or apprehension about, do I want this to be something that ends with the Lakers? Do I want the Lakers to gain the most benefit from it? Like, I can understand that if there is some degree of tension. But if he's thinking, I want to end it pretty soon, and I want to do it with the franchise that will do it best, this is actually the place to do it, DeAndre, regardless of whatever tension that he might be feeling.
Yeah, don't need to go do it in Cleveland. No, don't need to do it in Miami. The Lakers is the place that you want to retire. Yeah. They're going to do everything in their power to make sure LeBron James goes out on the way LeBron James wants to.
They've had 2 full-on retirement tours with Kareem, then Kobe. Like, they know. They had a damn carnival in the LA, like in between the LA Life Plaza and then Staples Center. Like, they had an actual carnival. Like, and by the way, I'm not saying this hyperbolically. I mean, like, literally, there was a Ferris wheel that I had to walk past to get to this game. Like, it was like an actual carnival. They know how to do this stuff. So, and I'm sure that that is something that LeBron would be considering if he's going to retire and if there would be a tour. Because, again, I think LeBron would want it, and I don't mean that with any shade. I think he should want it, and he deserves to want it. He's earned it. You want it done right? I'm sorry, man. There's no organization in the NBA, few in sports, that would do it better than the Lakers. And I would imagine that enters his thinking. But it does raise an interesting question, too. And we'll get into this coming up next. Also, I want to talk about the Hall of Fame weekend, and in particular Dwight Howard, but also a little bit of Melo. If this was LeBron's final year, and there was a retirement tour that everybody suspects there would be, how does that affect the season? Because I can picture it in 2 very opposite directions. I think you can make a very strong, compelling case. Could help the team, could undermine the team. So we'll talk about that coming up next. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN.
The 12th annual SoCal Hyundai ESPN LA Golf Classic.
Presented by Coors Light and Vista Paint.
Happening Friday, September 12th at Black Gold Golf Club in Yorba Linda. With special thanks this year to
Sunday Swagger. Come for the prints, stay for the feel. Sunday Swagger delivers buttery soft, breathable polos and button-ups with 4-way stretch. Built to move from the first tee to last call. Find yours at sundayswagger.com.
Looking for paint that actually lasts? Vista Paint delivers expert quality, rich color, and pro-trusted durability, backed by over 60 years of experience. From your home to your next big project, we've got you covered. Vista Paint, since 1956.
Looking for an easy way to save energy and earn money? With Clean Power Alliance's Power Response Home program, you can do both. Simply reduce your electricity use with small actions, such as unplugging appliances or air drying laundry during times of high energy demand. You could earn $20 just for signing up. Power Response. Great for your wallet and for the planet. Get paid to power down today at cleanpoweralliance.org/home.
John Ireland here for Blue Ice Vodka, America's #1 potato vodka. Smooth, creamy, no burn, made from non-GMO potatoes and gluten-free with no added sugar, just 64 calories an ounce. Blue Ice Vodka, because taste matters.
College football is back, and the Coliseum is the place to be. USC football takes on the best in college football, with home games against Michigan, Michigan State, Iowa, and crosstown rival UCLA. Don't miss a single snap, a single touchdown, or the roar of the Trojan Nation. Single game tickets are now available at usctrojans.com/tickets. usctrojans.com/tickets. Fight on!
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
710 ESPN.
The radio home of the purple and gold and the home of Lakers Talk.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute.
When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
More Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky rolls on.
It was a clear black night, a clear white moon. Warren G was on the streets trying to consume some skirts for the E, so I could get some phones. Rolling in my ride, chilling all alone.
Just hit the east side of the LBC on a mission trying to find Mr. Warren G.
Obviously, this is Long Beach legend Warren G. Turns out he is getting into the basketball business. He may co-own a Long Beach baseball team, not basketball, baseball. He may be getting into the baseball business, the sports business. He is going to potentially co-own a baseball team in Long Beach. You can take one very obvious guess what they're going to be called. The Regulators.
Regulators!
Every time somebody hits a home run, there's got to be that damn right. We're good at it. Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. I mean, honestly, though, it would be pretty badass if Warren G had a baseball team in Long Beach. That would actually be really cool. Like, trying to see what league this is a part of. It's a minor league baseball team in Long Beach. That'd be pretty damn cool. That would be, I guarantee that would be really, really exciting and fun for Warren G. Before I get into this question, by the way, of how a potential farewell tour, if it did, and I stress if this was LeBron's known final season in the NBA, which would obviously be with the Lakers, how that could affect the team. I want to address a comment in the Lakers Talk YouTube comment section from Charger 55 that said, why can't LeBron and Luka both be number ones? That's the only chance we have to win a chip next year. And so it's clear they do need LeBron to play at a high level next season. Like, LeBron is second best player on the Lakers. And he is still, I talked about this before with Jake Madison, the Locked On Podcast Network, the NBA channel. We just did our top 100, the type of thing that ESPN does, The Ringer or The Athletic. We just did ours. And Luka came in at 4. LeBron came in at 12. Austin Reeves also came in at 58. Those are the only 3 Lakers that made the top 100. The Lakers are the only team with 2 guys in the top 12 in our rankings in the NBA. And, I had personally, for what it's worth, when I did my ranking, my entry that I turned in, I had LeBron at 8. But the gap between 8 and 12, if we were not such a round number society and culture and not such a top 10 society and culture, the truth is 8 versus 12 is really not that big of a deal. And with 8 and 12, you're still talking about 2 elite players in the league, 2 all-NBA caliber players in the league. They're going to need LeBron to play at a high level. But the reason Luka is going to be the number one and the focal point is, A, he's the better player at this stage of his career. He's also the younger player. He's the guy just entering his prime as opposed to being in his 40s. That's the guy that you want carrying the heavier load. Like, forget, Batman versus Robin and all other stuff. Like, logically, Luka should be carrying the heavy load. He should be having more shots put up. He should have all of that. Like, if he's not the guy doing that and you're turning to a 41-year-old, then frankly, Luka's not the guy that you thought he was in the first place. But also, too, Luka's the number one guy in the pecking order, in the importance with this organization, because he's the guy you're going to be built around moving forward. Like, he's the guy that you're envisioning roster builds. And every trade you make or you don't make, it's all about Luka and not LeBron. And I don't mean that dismissively towards LeBron. It's just reality. LeBron is 41 entering season 23, and Luka is 26. Generational superstar just entering his prime. So, I mean, that's ultimately the answer to Charger 55. Like, why can't they both be number ones? They're both going to have a lot on their plate. They both need to play well. But there still is a pecking order, whether it's stated or understood, and Luka's number one. Like, that's just the way things are going to work. And LeBron understands that as well as anybody, because he's been the number one dude for basically 20-ish years in his career. He gets it. That question, though, of if this did end up, and again, stressing, if it ended up LeBron's final season and the retirement tour and all of the attention that comes with it being the last season for an icon in sports, arguably the greatest player of all time. If you don't think he's the greatest, he is top 2 or 3 at the absolute worst, at the absolute lowest. Like, on one hand, I could see that as a really galvanizing force and a really galvanizing theme for the season. The idea of, we are going to get together and send out one of the all-time greats in sports on a high note. We are going to win this thing so one of the all-time greats, the league's leading scorer, he goes out on top with a ring. He ends up getting that 5th championship. Like, we are going to make sure that we send out LeBron on top. That could potentially be a very unifying force for this season. Something like, it's not apples to apples, and obviously the thing I'm about to mention is much more serious and matters more than LeBron getting his 5th championship. But in 2020, after Kobe's passing, LeBron and Anthony Davis and the entire organization, they were outwardly looking to win that championship to pay tribute to Kobe. Like, this was something they made no secret about. They actually wanted you to know. We are doing this in Kobe's memory. We're going to win this championship for Kobe. And that was something that was very galvanizing for them, as opposed to, and I remember at the time, people speculating, like, does voicing that, does putting that out there potentially overwhelm the season, like make it about something else, or make it too big to focus, like to maintain the focus to win a championship. And it turned out that was something that really did, I think, galvanize this team in winning that championship in 2020. But the flip side is, and I know this because I covered Kobe's final season, the retirement tour. I was around the team all the time. I saw it up close. That was wasn't even like a two timelines team. That was a Kobe team. You know, when Kobe plays, we play one way. When Kobe is not available, whether because of injury or whether because he's being given a game off in order to get him through the season, it's D'Lo and Jordan Clarkson and Julius Randle and other young guys. It was like a schizophrenic team.
My boy Tarek Black on the team.
Your boy Tarek Black was on that team. I love Tarek. Side note, great guy. Great guy. And super, super smart. Tarek Black was a really, really smart guy. I really liked covering him. But like all those young guys, D'Lo, Randle, Jordan Clarkson, Larry Nance Jr., like they all understood why the focus was Kobe. And they did not resent this at all. Like they got it. But it was difficult. Like it was difficult to play a cohesive season when some of the games are kind of about Kobe. And like when Kobe plays, everything runs through him. He gets as many shots as he wants. But also the games he doesn't play, you play a completely different way. You're developing the young guys, or at least theoretically developing the young guys. It's two very different things. And those guys have acknowledged, like, look, Kobe earned this, and it was an honor to be a part of it. But it wasn't easy. And that was a team that was playing for nothing. Like, they were playing for the goal. I think secondarily, try to develop D'Lo, Randle, the young guys, and I don't think the organization was ever as committed to that as they should have been. But the number one goal was get Kobe through the season so he can play the final game of the year at 60 points. Like it was all incredible leading up to that point, that 60-point game against the Jazz, Kobe's final. But that was really difficult, and that was in a season where you were playing for no stakes. I don't know what it would be like to, I mean, I was not around the Lakers during Showtime like Kareem's final year. Like and Kareem was less of a central player for that team during his final year. He was still good, but he was not Kareem level. I don't know what the effect would be, because it is difficult when every single stop, every single post game, every single practice, the majority of questions are about LeBron. And, what is memories, favorite memory playing in this city, favorite LeBron memory, like what does it mean for LeBron's final year, like all of that stuff. And even without resentment, and I want to make it clear, I don't think any of the guys on the team would resent it, but it creates a different focus, and it can become overwhelming. Like it is a lot. And how well the Lakers could manage the goal of trying to win a championship and also theoretically sending out LeBron James in a retirement tour in the way that he has completely earned, that's an interesting prospect. I know Kareem, I believe he retired in 89, 89 or 90. I know those teams were still playing for something. Like Magic was still a great player. Worthy was still a great player. Byron Scott, down the line. But Kareem, I think it was probably a little bit easier because he was less of a focus of the team. Like, he still mattered because he's Kareem, but he was less of a focus on the court, less of a focal point. And also it was pre-social media area, pre-magnified media in general. Like, it's probably a bit easier back then to do something like this than it is now. Like, I'd be very curious to see how this would play out. If it actually was LeBron's stated last season, for what it's worth, I don't think it will be. But if it was, I'm very curious to see how that would play out. Either way, LeBron is an active player now in the Hall of Fame. He was part of a weekend with the Redeem team. He and Chris Paul are now the only active players to ever be Hall of Famers. But Dwight Howard and Carmelo Anthony also entered the Hall of Fame. 2 former Lakers, 1 former Laker champ. I want to talk about the way those guys have been polarizing over the course of their careers, and in particular, Dwight, how sometimes we just get into stupid conversations trying to detract from greatness that is obvious. So that's coming up next. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN.
Sedano and Cap have taken over Morning Drive on 710 ESPN.
Rams opener.
Yeah. So of course he requested a credential after we closed credentials, but I made it happen for him.
This guy. There should be a credential in my name and a parking pass so that when a star of my magnitude decides to go to the game, I cruise right in.
The Sedano and Cap Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. on 710 ESPN, the all-new ESPN LA app, and on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles.
Feel the ground tremble. The Morongo Band of Mission Indians invites you to the 34th Annual Thunder and Lightning Powwow. Enjoy authentic arts, crafts, and the cuisine of Native American culture. All are welcome to this free, family-friendly event. Call 888-MORONGO or go to morongopowwow.com for more information. The Thunder and Lightning Powwow, September 26th through the 28th.
Water, power, comfort. NextGen protects it all with the Home Hero Bundle. Do you like the taste of your water? If not, get your free alkaline reverse osmosis system when you install whole home water filtration. Clean, healthy water every tap. Add a heater treater for just $4.99 to shield your plumbing from hard water damage. And when you bundle in HVAC or electrical service, you'll save 10% instantly. One call, one team, total home protection. Call NextGen 833-3-NEXGEN or visit nextgenaaronplumbing.com today.
CSLB number 1011173.
Experience a fiesta of flavors at Pechanga Resort Casino's annual Tacos and Tequila Festival on Saturday, September 20th. Enjoy an afternoon of unlimited tacos, premium tequila, live entertainment, and much, much more. Admission includes a commemorative shot glass. Event proceeds benefit Habitat for Humanity Inland Valley. General admission and VIP tickets available right now. Visit pechanga.com for tickets and more information.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
An off-season edition of Lakers Talk continues on 710 ESPN. Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute.
When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
More Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky rolls on.
The Isley Brothers and Ice Cube?
Isley Brothers and Ice Cube, man.
There you go. Today was a good day. Isley Brothers sample. Isley's, man. I know we talked about this last week with Funchy. By the way, Funchy not here. He had to pinch hit last minute for Mason in Ireland, which, I should have mentioned this earlier in the show, means the debut of the, I believe, at least, if nothing else, this season's debut or this preseason's debut of the kids in the back with the social media. They are going to take over Crunch Time. they're going to be throwing out the questions and topics for me and DeAndre to react to. So
better bring it, Graham.
I was going to say,
Jonathan.
Graham, Jonathan, you guys have got about, 15 or so minutes to make sure you got your proverbial bleep together.
We got our bleep together. It's some good bleep.
Okay. Love it.
There we go. All right.
Love the confidence. But like I said, I should have mentioned this earlier. It's the kids in the back and the social media, their time to shine. Speaking of times to shine, Hall of Fame inductions over the weekend. Mentioned earlier, the Redeem team. Kobe Bryant obviously acknowledged as a central part and the leader of that team that turned around and reestablished the fortunes of Team USA. Also made LeBron and Chris Paul the first ever active players inducted into the Hall of Fame as part of that team. But also, and I think it's fitting in a lot of ways, Carmelo Anthony and Dwight Howard were a part of that team. They were inducted as part of the Redeem team, but also inducted as individual players over the weekend, which means they were inducted twice in the same weekend. And they are both players, and in particular Dwight, where I have seen people inexplicably debate whether or not those two should be in the Hall of Fame. And I'm just going to say this right now. If you are questioning whether either one of them should be, and again, it's been more Dwight than Melo, and some of this is social media or sports talk debate, and all of that should always be taken with a grain of salt, says the guy who is on social media all the time talking sports and is literally hosting a sports talk show. But take all of this stuff with a grain of salt. Those two guys are first ballot Hall of Fame no-brainers. What the bleep are we debating? And in particular, Dwight has become, I think, the poster boy for really? Like, we're actually questioning this? Really? Let me run through Dwight's resume in the NBA. 1 championship, 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards, 8 times All-Star, 8 times All-NBA, 5 times All-Defense, 5 times led the league in total rebounds, 2-time block champ, Rookie of the Year, 5 different times he was top 7 or higher for MVP. 4 times in the top 5, and in 2011, he was the runner-up for MVP behind Derrick Rose, which, side note, is probably the weirdest MVP just race in general we've had in a while. I think we could, in a lot of ways, we look back at that as the backlash against LeBron in the decision MVP award, just people not wanting to vote for LeBron. But Dwight has been an MVP runner-up. His prime years in Orlando, he averaged 18, 13, and 2 blocks. Like, those 8 years alone in Orlando would be the very strong foundation for a Hall of Fame induction in and of itself. Like, DeAndre and I were talking about this before the show began, and you said it, DeAndre. Like, there was a period where he was the best big man in the league, hands down, particularly when you talk about two-way bigs, and it really wasn't close.
At all, especially what he was doing on that floor, blocking shots. He was a true lob threat in that time in the league, and he was doing this literally without no real post moves either.
No, no.
And literally just all athleticism.
And it's great that you brought that up, because Dwight allowed, and I think in some ways this is a big piece of why the second half of Dwight's career was spent journeymaning and bouncing around and aggravating a lot of people, annoying a lot of people, whether you're talking about fans or teammates. He allowed he needs to be a post guy. I should do it in the right voice. He needs to be a post guy. He needs to be down on the block like Hakeem and greatness like me. He needs to, like, Shaq.
Pretty good, actually.
Not
too bad.
Shaq effed up Dwight's mind. Like, straight up, he ruined him in a lot of ways. Like, the first time he played with the Lakers, Steve Nash complained on the record his frustration, like, we can't get him to do screen and roll. Like, he does not want to do it, despite the fact that at the time, Dwight Howard was statistically the best roll man in the league, and it wasn't even close. He kept hearing too much, got to be down in the post, big man's supposed to be down there in the post, he feed the post in the big block. Like, and it screwed him up. It absolutely screwed him up. But Dwight is also a great example of the paradox and of rings culture and how much rings culture has screwed up the way we talk about greatness in the NBA in general, where you will hear people, and in particular former NBA players, complain about superstars always wanting to team up. You know, they never want to do it themselves, even though nobody's ever had sustained success by themselves. They always want to team up with other superstars. Instead of competing against the best, they run to join up with each other. But then when you carry a team to the finals but don't manage to win, you get no credit for that either. You didn't win. What difference does it make? Lost in the finals. Jordan 6-0. And, like, it's really meant as a way to just swing back around to Michael Jordan's the best. Everyone else sucks. But people need to really remember the team that Dwight Howard carried to the 2009 finals. That was the year they lost to the Lakers, the first of the Kobe Powell back-to-back championships. They lost 4-1. I think the series was a little bit more competitive than people realized, but there's no question the Lakers controlled it. There was never any doubt the Lakers were going to win. But the roster that Dwight carried, the best players on it were Rashard Lewis, Jameer Nelson, Hedo Turkoglu. J.J. Redick was on that team. Marcin Gortat was on that team. Like
Polish Hammer, baby.
Polish Hammer. Michael Pietrus. Whew. I quizzed DeAndre on this.
He did.
Before the show began, I said, I want you to guess how many combined All-Star appearances Dwight's supporting cast had for their entire careers. And I don't mean as magicians in Orlando. I mean their entire careers. The grand total is 3. Rashard Lewis made 2 All-Star teams. Jameer Nelson made 1. From there, Hedo Turkoglu early in his career won Most Improved Player. That's it. By definition, there are no All-NBA appearances among any of them. Certainly none of them even sort of in sniffing distance of the Hall of Fame. Dwight took that team to the finals, took out the defending champion Celtics. I know they did not have Kevin Garnett, but you still have Pierce, Allen, Rondo, like a better team on paper than Dwight's team. He also took out LeBron's Cavs on the way to that finals. Like, that should be heavily respected. That is hard to do. And I know Dwight's personality can be grating and annoying and too much. I've seen it up close twice because I was around the 2013 Lakers, you know, the year of Kobe and Powell and Nash and Dwight. This is going to be fun Sports Illustrated cover that's, spoiler alert, not fun. And also the 2020 team that ended up winning the championship. I was around both of those teams, and I saw a good version of Dwight or a better version of Dwight in the locker room, and I saw an alienating version of Dwight. And I know that Dwight's personality has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I know that he is a weird dude. All of that is true. It does not change the fact that that dude is a first ballot Hall of Fame no-brainer. Like, frankly, he should have been in the top 75. When they named that team, like I've said many times, I think the goalposts have been moved too often for AD. People judge him too harshly. You know, I've never liked the street clothes stuff. Like, AD is a great player. The idea that AD made that top 75 team over Dwight, to me, is insanity. Like, maybe in time, Anthony Davis's career will look better than Dwight's, but Dwight's at his peak versus AD's, I think Dwight's is better. I think by a pretty fair margin. Like, I love Dame Lillard. Dame is one of my favorite players of, like, the last 20 years. The idea that Dame would get in there over Dwight's resume blows Dame's away.
I'm about to say, the numbers say it for itself. It literally says it for itself.
And I love Dame. And that dude is a killer. And, like, you can never fault Dame himself for not having rings. Like, that dude's never shied away from the moment. He has, you know, had series-winning shots. Like, he's a killer. But Dwight's resume is better. And, like, I get it. He's alienating. But you cannot deny what he's done. Carmelo, like, weren't you saying that DeMarco?
Yeah, DeMarco said earlier, he's like, I'm not, he was having trouble understanding why Carmelo made it to Hall of Fame. I'm like, DeMarco, Like, I know because he said that, he lost all the time in the playoffs. Like, yeah, he would run into a Kobe Bryant team, and like that Denver Nuggets team wasn't really. Dude, they were good. They were a really good team, but they just. I mean, of course, you got those certain players that just couldn't get over that hump.
Yeah, and I don't mean to name check DeMarco like to call him out as much as I know this. DeMarco is an example of this coming up. I think we just underrate how hard it is to win in general. Like, winning is hard in the NBA, but Melo is top 10 all-time on the scoring list. Like, other than Kevin Durant, in the entire time I've covered the Lakers / the NBA, other than Durant, I've never seen a guy make scoring look easier than Melo.
Telling you that mid-post, the mid-range and mid-post, oh my goodness.
Dude. I mean, he made it
turnaround jump shot. Oh,
he made it look simple.
One dribble pull-ups. Oh my, all that. He was a transcending player.
And opposite of what I was talking about with Dwight in terms of alienating teammates, his peers love Melo. Like, love him. He's one of the most popular players in the league when he'd been there. Like, everybody loves him. He was one of Kobe's favorites. Kobe and Melo were legitimately tight. Kobe loved Melo. Like, again, two guys well-deserved to have their induction.
But, I mean, like you said himself, he's what, three-time Olympic gold?
Three-time Olympic golds plus the Syracuse championship. And, again, top 10 scoring. Like, yes.
Numbers speak for itself.
Yes, man. Melo is clearly in the Hall of Fame. Another reminder, Lakers have a lot of Hall of Famers, man. Lakers have a lot of Hall of Famers. All right, it is time for the kids in the back with the social media. Look at them. Look at them. Look at Graham all excited. Look at Jonathan all excited. They are ready. They are ready for crunch time. They're going to lay out some questions. DeAndre and I are going to have the answers. That's coming up next on Lakers Talk, 710 ESPN.
The 12th Annual SoCal Hyundai ESPN LA Golf Classic.
Presented by Coors Light and Vista Paint.
Happening Friday, September 12th at Black Gold Golf Club in Yorba Linda. With special thanks this year to
Sunday Swagger. Make noise without saying a word. Sunday Swagger pairs head-turning prints with buttery soft, breathable fabric. And four-way stretch in polos and golf apparel that move on and off the course. Patterns come in men's, women's, and youth. Upgrade your golf fits at sundayswagger.com.
Hey, football fans, you and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Love collecting my winnings from Prize Picks. They pay out fast, right? And it's super fun and super simple to play the game. All you have to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if you get it right, you can cash in. Plus, Prize Picks invented Flex Play, which means you can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. And Prize Picks also offers injury reboots. So if one of your player leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks won't count it as a loss. Download the app today. Use that code TRAV to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code TRAV to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It is good to be right.
John Ireland here for Blue Ice Huckleberry Vodka, crafted with real mountain huckleberries, Idaho State fruit. Think blueberries, but richer. Try pairing it with lemonade. So refreshing. Blue Ice Vodka, because taste matters.
Located in the heart of downtown Los Angeles, Crypto.com Arena is pulling back the curtain and unveiling new behind-the-scenes VIP tours presented by Delta Airlines, which offers an exclusive look inside one of the world's most iconic sports and entertainment venues. Expert guides will lead small groups through spaces that have hosted legendary sports championships, world-renowned concerts, and epic awards. Guests will also explore the VIP areas and experience the arena's latest renovations. Visit CryptoArena.com/tours for more info.
It's crunch time on Lakers Talk.
When the clock is ticking and it's all coming down to the wire, you know what that means.
This is crunch time.
All right, as always, we close out with crunch time, but this time, crunch time will be a little bit different. Funchy had to pinch it with Mason in Ireland, so he's not here tonight. So taking over in his stead, The kids in the back with the social media, Jonathan and Graham, they're going to be running crunch time. DeAndre and I are going to have the responses. What's up, fellas?
How we doing, AK?
Good.
First of all, I got to start since we were showing some Long Beach love today. It's actually 908 Day. It's Long Beach Day.
Nice.
That's the first 3 digits of the Long Beach
regulators.
Wait, hold on. That's the first digits of the Long Beach area code, 908?
I'm sorry, the zip code.
The zip code, because I was going to say, I thought it's 562.
Yes, sir. Yeah, zip code.
All right. I mean, there's been like a zillion area codes added in LA over the years. Like at one point, I'm pretty sure Long Beach was 213 like everyone else. But yeah, I always thought they were 562. But go on.
Had to show some Long Beach love. I love my city, but AK, you got me.
You're gonna go check out some Regulators games, Graham?
I have been begging for them to have a team. There was a time where Long Beach wanted to try and buy the Angels when they weren't sure they were gonna. Oh, I would have loved it. But anyways, we'll get back to some Lakers. AK, you caught my attention talking about Kobe's retirement and really how he didn't know when he was gonna call it, or like you said, he didn't call it at the beginning of the season. So I wanted to ask you and DeAndre, what's your favorite Mamba moment from that 15-16 season that's not the final game? Because I think that final game really kind of cleaned up how that season, even with him retiring and being happy, it was a tough season.
I was going to say, it was a tough season. And, like, on one hand, it was cool seeing Kobe get his deserved love everywhere that he went and the applause and the respect and the appreciation. But the season itself was kind of a slog. Probably my favorite moments, at least involving Kobe from that season, because off the top of my head, I don't remember what happened at like Madison Square Garden, or like I will say I remember him getting MVP chance in Boston, and that's says something right there.
Wow.
But Kobe at that point, and it had started before that season, but it especially was in the final one. He had basically entered drunken uncle at the Thanksgiving table mode. Post game is just like, I will say whatever the hell I want. I don't care. He became in some ways more immediately available. Like Kobe, to his credit, was always pretty accessible, particularly for a superstar. Like he was very good with giving the media post game time. Like he very rarely didn't do post game media, but Kobe always did his treatment right after the games. And his treatment was extensive, meaning you were waiting a while for Kobe. The post-game treatment in his final season was not nearly as extensive. Sometimes if he didn't play or he played very little, he would get to us quicker and more immediately. And like, he's just very laid back and loose and was just like, I don't give a bleep, say whatever. Like that was kind of a fun side to watch with Kobe.
I feel like just him, like you said, going to different arenas and seeing the energy and, you know, how fans really, really genuinely appreciated what he did for the game of basketball. I mean, it's cool. You know, when you get a whole farewell tour like that, and yeah, it's awesome.
Okay, you know what? This is not related to Kobe, but I still remember this just because it jumped out at me as still maybe to this day, one of the most like vulnerable, honest answers I've ever heard from a coach. And like after Kobe announced this was going to be his final year, I asked Byron Scott, who was the coach at the time, and I really liked Byron, like as a person. Like I liked him a lot when I covered him, but I was pretty outward with thinking and saying he's playing Kobe way too many minutes. Like the amount of minutes he's playing Kobe is frankly insane at this stage of his career. So I'm going to be able to get through the season. I asked Byron about this a few times, like there were disagreements, whatever. Again, always professional, and I really liked Byron a lot. I just disagree with that approach. When Kobe announced that he was going to retire, he and Byron and the Lakers sat down and they developed a plan, basically to get Kobe through the season and make sure that he could be there for that series finale at Staples. And I asked Byron, either pregame or post, is it hard for you, because Byron had been Kobe's mentor when he was a rookie, like they were really close. He was brought in basically to be Kobe's coach for the final couple of years. I asked him, like, was it hard? Is it hard for you to see Kobe as anything other than prime Mamba, prime Kobe? And he could have easily said, like, of course not. You know, like, that's where I realize where Kobe is. Or he could have been like, no, you know, still a great player. He's actually very honest. He's like, yeah, it is. He's like, it's hard for me to picture him any other way. It's kind of painful for me to see, to like recognize this. Like, he was very open and vulnerable and honest about, like, it's hard for me. I have so much respect for him, so much love for him and affection. And I know I have pride in being a part of all this. It's hard for me to see him any other way, which, if nothing else, I think explained the insane amount of minutes he was playing in, because I think he just couldn't see Kobe any other way. And Kobe was never going to say, you got to do less. He was never going to tell Byron no. So that's I've always remembered that.
I love that. Jonathan, you got the next one.
On me, we're talking Kobe. The brother won an Oscar, right? It had me thinking, obviously, LeBron has dabbled in the Hollywood space, the acting space. On this current roster, outside of LeBron, is there any guy that you're like, oh, yeah, I could see him in movies?
I think Anthony Edwards played a great job in that movie Hustle with Adam Sandler. So Anthony Edwards got a little bit of personality to him, a little bit more swagger. I can see him doing more in the movie industry.
Okay, true story. On Locked On Lakers, I had Amy Nicholson. Brian and I had her on, the film critic for the LA Times. She is, in addition to being a great film writer, a great film critic, Unspooled is the podcast she co-hosts. It's really, really good movies talk. She's also a massive Laker fan, like a diehard. I brought her on in part to talk about LeBron's work in Hollywood and the Space Jam reboot and all that stuff. But when she watched Hustle, Anthony Edwards had only been in the league like a year or something. Like, he was still a pretty new player. She did not realize he was an NBA player. She thought he was like an actor who was just a convincing enough basketball player. Until she saw the credits and all that stuff, she did not realize Ant was not a professional actor. His performance was that good. He was really good in that. As far as on the roster, is there anybody I could picture doing that stuff? I don't know, for some reason, I think Rui. Rui's got a really likable personality. He's got a good smile. He's fun.
Austin Reeves should have been on Happy Gilmore.
Who?
Austin Reeves. He should have been on Happy Gilmore. The
Yeah,
new one.
actually, you're right.
He should have had like a little cameo or something on there. That would have been great.
That actually would have made sense. Bring in somebody like Austin Reeves, or at minimum, you wonder where like Steph wasn't in it, or was Steph in it? I've not seen it.
No, Steph not in it.
Yeah, somebody like Steph or Austin. Those guys could have been good in Happy Gilmore too. But I don't know. By the way, we're talking about Kobe winning that Oscar. Kobe spent 20 years entertaining these stars of stars and music and Hollywood, presidents and all that stuff. You could see when he won that Oscar that he was like, holy. It's one of the only times where I've seen Kobe look overwhelmed by, I cannot believe this is happening. Like, I really cannot believe this. Like, have you ever seen the clips of him getting the award engraved and he's waiting? You can see he's just like, shocked. Like, I'm at the Academy Awards and I just won an Oscar.
That's a huge deal. That's a huge accomplishment.
Yes.
Like, this is something outside of basketball that he literally was successful in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And again, like, Kobe envisioned becoming an NBA legend. Like, this was something he always pictured for himself. He dreamed to be big enough to try to touch the sun that is Michael Jordan. Like, Kobe was not lacking for ambition and belief in terms of bigger is better. Everything I can accomplish in the NBA and in sports. The winning an Oscar thing was like, oh my God. Like, you could just see he did not see that coming, ever envision something like that. Thanks to everybody for listening tonight. Thank you to Jake Madison from Locked On NBA, Locked On Pelicans for dropping by. Thank you to the kids in the back with the social media, Graham and Jonathan. Nice work, fellas. Thank you very much. DeAndre, appreciate the extra assist, extra lift tonight. It's been a lot of fun. We will be back next Monday, 7 to 9. Again, that's looking to be our normal time. Lakers Talk